Lady, it's Abigail Lockwell here, and welcome back to another WIP and Chat. WIP stands for work in progress, so that can be anything. If you'd like to join along with me, it can be cross stitching, diamond painting, which is what I'm doing, knitting, crochet, adult colouring, origami, you know, anything. Card making, that's a good one. So I am working on Diamond Art Club's Bayou Lady, which is Tiana from Princess and the Frog. So I'm going to just do a quick view. So I filled my 310s, which are very obviously my black, in my Doris container on, when did I finish the last section? On Sunday. So my last kind of row was like this bit. And when I'm talking about the row, I mean the full row, not like the squares that you see it all cut into when I do my WIP and Chats. And yeah, I have gone through so much black. But this is the thing with if you're doing things like Mandy Manzano, Hannah Lynn, JoJo's Arts, anything that has a lot of dark colours in, you are going to be living your best 310 life. But you know, it does still kind of surprise you the amount of like black you get through. So far with this painting, I absolutely love how they've done her skin tone. There are a few yellows in it at the moment, but that you're kind of thinking, oh, that's going to look really weird, but it's actually, if you step back and look at it, it actually looks really good. And the thing is, ethnic skin is probably, in diamond painting, is one of the hardest things to get right, just because there are so few sort of brown colours in the DMC colour wave. It's just, you know, it's there are, I think, about 4, possibly 5 shades of brown. So obviously you need to add different colours, and most companies I know use red, like a really light, no, not light, a really dark red, and it just looks really bad. It looks really blotchy. But the fact that Diamond Art Club have tried to actually kind of make it look like a mocha cocoa colour with them, and tried to kind of not do the typical red colour that most companies do. They've tried to actually do like a yellow, which I think is really good. So I hope you're all having a really wonderful day when you happen to be watching this. So let's dive into it. So first thing I should probably talk about is work. I am going back to work on Sunday. The cinema that I work at, we've already opened. We've been open. We opened yesterday, and we're opening in the afternoon. And yeah, we're always not being open, you know, the length of time that we normally are. So obviously our hours reflect that. Now I've got quite a few late shifts, but next week, not the week coming up, but the week after that could all change. I could suddenly be on a whole load of earlies, because next Thursday I happen to know that I am opening, and I'm not going to finish work until 6, which is when I would normally record my WIP and Chat. So probably what's going to happen is I am going to be recording my WIP and Chat on different days. So you might see me sort of with, possibly you might see 3 different hoodies. And that is just purely because that is how I've had to do it. So I know I'm closing on Sunday, and then I am working, and then I'm working until 9 on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I'm working till 6 on Thursday. So, you know, it's gonna be kind of trying to negotiate and work around my work schedule. You know, it might be that you get a shorter WIP and Chat on some days, but you know, it's just, seeing as I haven't been at work for nearly a year, it's just trying to work around that and get all that done, dusted, out of the way. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of be doing very, very random, possibly even quick WIP and Chats. But that's just how we're gonna have to roll until, you know, if obviously on Thursday I'm doing a late, it's not gonna be that big of a deal because I'll be able to record the video and then do all that stuff. But it's not completely the recording of the video that's necessarily the issue, it's the editing as well. Because when I'm editing, I do actually watch the video and I edit out all my pause, like really long pauses and stuff. So yeah, I obviously have to have time to record my WIP and Chat, watch it, and then edit where I need to. So my training actually went up to not 10 hours, 14 hours this week. So I had to do a COVID module on my e-learning before I went back, which took me up to 10 hours. And then on Tuesday, I had to go into work for a bit so I could do fire training, etc., etc. Fire training, I have to say, is quite interesting because so we've got a new general manager at our place of work, and he's really nice, really reasonable. And so what he did is there are about 20 of us that have returned. So he split all of us in half and he said, right, this lot, you're going to be the customers. And this lot, you're going to be the staff. So we always do kind of like practice of, you know, if, say, there was a fire or a power outage or even a bomb threat, we would be prepared. And we have 10 screens where I work, and we have and most of the cinema chain don't have so at our cinema you can actually hide behind the screens. Most of the refurbished stuff doesn't. The refurbished cinemas don't have that. We are overdue a refurb. I mean, we have been supposedly getting a refurb ever since I joined, and that's been 3 years. Yeah, I have been working at my current job for 3 years. I've gone through, so how many managers, so how much management team have I gone through? Because I know when I first joined, they were reshuffling everything and we lost our managers, and then they replaced them. So GMs, over the 3 years that I've been there, I have gone through 3 general managers. Yeah. I've gone, and that is just because they've either moved site, moved on, or just left the company. Which when I joined and they decided to get rid of our managers, I know at least 1 or 2 took redundancy. But no, it was nice to see the old team. But yeah. So I'm currently on my 4th general manager where I work. Which, you know, the first lot of managers, they were alright, but I didn't really work with them long enough, I would say, to really kind of, sort of get like a really good relationship with them, I would say. You know, I got on with them well, but I didn't work there as long and get to know them as well as everybody else. And then they were replaced with my 2nd manager, who, again, he was one of these managers. He was great on paper, but he didn't really give 2 flying flip-flops about you as a person. Because when I went off sick, I came back when Spider-Man Homecoming was out, and I was on the ice cream stand, and I had a massive queue of people, and I radioed asking for someone to come and help me, because, you know, I'd only just come back off sick leave. Josh was working. I had asked for reduced hours when I came back, didn't get them. And, you know, I just was like radioing. I didn't get a response the first time. And Josh, who was working, he was actually trying to get to me so he could help with the queue. And our manager came up and said, no, you need to go to concessions. It was like, to that manager, I didn't matter. And I was getting flat, and I was flapping. I was trying to do people's orders. I was trying to deal with customers. I know one customer went up to a member of staff and said, the girl in the ice cream stand, she needs to calm down. And it's like, and you know, everyone of course knew I'd just come back off sick leave for mental health, and they were, so it was like when it was quiet, I was told this, I was like, oh my gosh, I just come off sick leave. It's opening weekend of Avengers. Well, not of Avengers, of Spider-Man. What do you expect? So yeah, but that is the closest that I've got to walking out on the spot of a job. I very nearly was like, I'm done with this. I'm not coming back. If this is how I'm going to be treated when I've just come back off sick leave and I come back, and then a week later I am back to where I was, which, as you know, did happen with one of my previous jobs when I worked for Subway. So yeah, and I nearly walked. The fact that, you know, I was told on the radio when I asked again for some backup, I was told everyone's got to go to concessions. I was just like, what the hell? That just sounds like I don't matter. It sounds like, yeah, you're fine, but in reality, I wasn't fine. And I even told the TL on GC, I said, I've never been so close to just walking out. And the thing is, I would have got yelled at if I had just walked out, but I'd been like, well, no one gave a damn about me, and when someone did try to come and help, you told him to go somewhere else. It was just nasty. And then the second GM I had, she was lovely. She was Irish, and yeah, no, she was just so fun. And she actually tried to get people involved and use our talents, our crafty talents, for stuff that could help around the cinema, for like displays, etc. And now we've got a new guy, and I don't know what he's going to be like. I think he's going to be pretty reasonable, because yeah, I already met him. So when we went and did our fire training, sorry, I'm just going to be jumping back and forth. This is probably going to be very sort of work related, I guess. Excuse me. I'm going to see if I can get one of those. So that. Haha. So we were doing our fire training, and it, like I say, we've got a kind of bit on screen that you can actually hide under it, and probably a majority of the other sites don't actually have this because they've had their refurb, and as I said, we've been due a refurb for 3 years. Still hasn't happened. Still waiting for that refurb. And you know, all the customers, one of the things we have on our thing, on our customer review thing, is the most common one is the cinema looks dated, because it opened in 2005, I think. And, you know, yeah, I look young, and I've had customers saying, we've been coming to the cinema before you were born. And I've just turned around and said, yeah, no, this cinema was not around in 1995. That it's worth it to say that for the look on their face. I've had customers say to me, oh, when are you going back to school? But yeah, so like I say, overdue refurb and everything else. So me and Josh, we were in different screens, and for the fire training, we were the customers, obviously, because we were hiding. And I was hiding under the screen on the very, very, very unlikely event that, say, a kid did decide that they wanted to, sorry. Yay, there's more Tiana. Yay, there we go. On the unlikely event that a kid, say, did decide that they wanted to go under the screen and hide because of the loud noises that were happening. So obviously we went and did that, and someone went into the screen that I was hiding, and a person, they checked under the screens, but they checked the wrong end. And I even had my torch on because it's very, very dark under those screens. But yeah. So yeah, they checked, and then after all the stuff had gone and played, I came out from under the screen, went into the foyer, and yeah, I could see people were hiding underneath, and everyone was like, "Oh, where were you? I was in screen 10. Someone checked under the screen but didn't do a good job." And I actually did call Josh when they were all coming back in and say, "Hey, you can come out now. We've died." Obviously, we didn't actually die, but if, say, that was a fire and it hadn't been checked properly, then yeah, me and Josh, we would have died. So when it was our turn, we were both checking incredibly, and I mean incredibly thorough with our checks. I was checking, so I had 2 screens to check. So what will happen is, in the event of an evacuation, depending on how many staff members you have, you may be given more than one sort of key fob. So we have sort of key rings with names of places that we have to check. So you've got auditorium 1, 2, 3, etc. And we were, you know, we checked really thoroughly. I was even shining my torch down the back of the screen in case there was someone there. Also, there is a bit that at the back of our seating area is, say, if a child did get scared and they were sitting at the back, they could very easily hide, kind of climb behind the seat and try and hide there. But hopefully their parents would notice and be like, "Hey, you know, you need to get out, it's okay." But you know, you just never know. Obviously, if there's a person unconscious in the screen, unfortunately, you know, you do need to leave them for the fire department. But if there is a stubborn person, and this has happened in our evacuations, I've never been a part of when we have had to evacuate the building. One evacuation happened a couple of years ago. We had just hired a whole load of new people. I think it was their first 2 shifts. The first one was the hot dog machine, the old hot dog machine. And then the second one was someone smoking or vaping in the toilet. So obviously the building went into, we have 2 stages. So we've got stage 1 and then we've got stage 2. And yeah, so because the first one was in a main public area. It was in the foyer. We went straight. They went straight into stage 2. Now, bear in mind, these were newbies that we'd only just hired. They hadn't done their fire training yet, but there were quite a few experienced people, so they were talking them through it, telling them what to do. And it was kind of, yeah, like, you know, I take my hat off to those newbies that had to deal with the evacuations on their first couple of shifts. But yeah, no, smoking and vaping in the toilets is actually a really big thing. I went to clean screen once. It was all quiet, and then suddenly a man came back in. He'd forgotten his vape rope. He starts vaping, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, you can't vape in the screen." And he's just like, "Yeah, bye." And I thought, oh my gosh, if you had triggered that fire alarm, the fire brigade would not be happy. They would be mad. And also, it's really stupid that some people think when we have had to evacuate, people will go up to the management saying, "I want a refund for, this happening." And you're thinking, there could have been a fire and you're more concerned about getting a refund, not the fact that we could have potentially just saved your life. It's just, honestly, you do have to question the priorities of some people. I get that, some people do get annoyed that we have to evacuate. I understand that, but say the building did catch fire and I was a customer, the last thing that I would be thinking at that time would be refund. That would honestly be the last thing on my mind. I think, my gosh, we could have potentially died in there. Thank God for the staff that knew what they were doing. But yeah, it's only a small few that are actually buttholes like that decide that their refund is more important than their lives. But also, if say we are doing an evacuation as well, if a person refuses to leave the screen, either because, so this is a conscious person, if they refuse to leave the screen. Obviously, if they're unconscious or injured and you can't move them, then obviously they're not going to be able to leave the screen. They're obviously just going to have to wait for the fire brigade. And of course, probably paramedics as well, but the fire brigade would get them out and then the paramedics would seize them. But no, if we've got a conscious person that's refusing to leave the screen, we ask them 3 times, and if they don't leave by the 3rd time, we have to leave them. We just have to leave them. And then if, say, it's either a real fire or a false alarm or something else, then basically the fire department or the police will, well, probably the fire department will yell at them for not listening to us, and they will drag them out kicking and screaming. Like, no matter what, they will get them out, even if they have to throw them over their shoulder. And Let's say even if they have to throw them over their shoulder and carry them out, they will get them out. But yeah, I think someone would have to be pretty stupid to not leave during a fire evacuation. I mean, it probably has happened. Probably a few occasions it has happened, but you know, you just never know. It could be a real fire. It could be happening, you know, above your head. It could be anything. It really could be. So yeah, that was what I was doing on Tuesday. I was also redoing some training for other areas. They were teaching people how to pop again. So popping is, for those of you who don't know, that's popcorn. So it's going to be now put on my notes that I can only pop. I'm not allowed to clean. I can't clean it because so this is going into my health a bit. So as you know, or if you don't know, if you're new, hi, I'm Abigail. I'm quite nice, really, I think, most of the time. Unless you catch me when I'm having one of my bad mental health episodes, then I could effectively say anything to you. I'll get onto something similar to that, where I did flip out at my dad. I'll get onto that in a bit. So what was I going on about before I was going on about me flipping out? Oh yes, I was going on about the popper. So obviously with the popper, it builds up with carbon from cooking the corn or the sugar and the salt, and of course you add oil with it. We've got 2 of them, and yeah, basically I will be able to pop, but I won't be able to clean, because when I started, we were using this chemical called PTC, and that eats carbon. And when my asthma came back, they did the x-ray and they found that my lungs were chemically scarred from inhaling the PTC, because we hadn't been given masks or respirators to wear when we were using it. And this is the thing, it was when I spoke to the asthma nurse about it, she was like, they should have been giving you something. That's probably why your lungs are so, you know, excuse my French, fucked up. Well, actually, no, you won't hear that because there'll be the dolphin laugh. But yeah, no. That chemical is the reason my asthma came back. So then we switched to a new chemical last year. It wasn't as strong as the PTC. But yeah, I still didn't get on with it. I still got very, very kind of sick. It would set me off like anything. And then, you know, we've come back to work and they're doing popping stuff. And we're back to PTC. So I obviously spoke to my new GM about it. And he asked, you know, if I could use the old stuff. Because I said, you know, the PTC is what brought my asthma back. And I said, well, no, I can't. That sets me off as well. And he was like, right, okay, we'll just put it on a note that you can't clean the pop-up. Oh well, there'll be so much that I can't do. What I'll do is I'll probably go to the cool down bit, but I won't be able to use the bit with the PTC because that sets me off. And I can tell when they've used it because I start immediately going, I start to cough, it gets very wolfy, so it's kind of like so like that, and I find it hard to breathe, and so yeah, I can't clean it. I'll go up until sort of just before we use the chemical, but yeah, apart from that, that's when we're gonna have to stop. I'm fine doing the rest of it, but I won't be able to clean it anymore, which is a bit of a shame because I've never wanted to let my asthma get in the way of my work, but sometimes you do just need to say, hey, this is going to set me off, this is what's going to happen, it won't be a good idea for me to use it. So yeah, no, I'm like I say, I'm perfectly happy to pop, but just when it gets to cleaning bit with the chemical, someone is gonna have to take over from me. But anyway, that's it. So like I say, I tend to be pretty nice unless you catch me on a bad mental health day. So I didn't have a bad mental health day as such, but I take antidepressants and I also take an antipsychotic for my borderline personality disorder. And so I take one pill in the morning and then I take one pill in the evening. And I always go down about 10:30, I want to say. That's normally the time that I go down. And, my dad was watching the news. My mum was in the living room. She knows that I normally take my pills at that time, so that was all good. Also, I thought, she says. She thought it was all good until, so my dad's deaf, but he constantly has to have like teletext or some kind of news on. It's and like I say, when we're trying to watch something, it's fine for him to talk, but when we're talking over something he wants to watch, that's not okay. Well, it's the same for when I want to take my medication. So I keep my medication in my pharmacy bag because that's easier for me to get to, because then it means that that's where I can grab it from. That's where all my medication is. So I went and I grabbed my my antipsychotic, and I'm putting it back in the bag, and then my dad just turns around. He also has dementia as well, and he goes, "Will you stop rustling that bag? I'm trying to listen to the news." I said, "Oh, so it's not okay for me to take my medication then? Right, so I'll just stop taking it then, and I'll have a psychotic episode right now and see how you deal with it. That's okay then, is it?" And he was like, "No, it's not, you stupid girl." Yeah, he called me a stupid girl. Now, I know why he's a bit more resentful to me. And this is going to get pretty deep, because my dad has told me on more than one occasion that I should have been a boy. Yeah, I should have been a boy. There's no way to sugarcoat that. So, yeah. And yeah, after he called me a stupid girl, I just got up and I went upstairs. I was mad because, you know, that is medication that I need to stop me from going over the edge. And it's kind of like, you know, I'm not allowed to take it. That is what it felt like at that moment in time. That it really was a case of, you don't matter. Your mental health doesn't matter. Your feelings don't matter. And I've had that many times with my father. I mean, I'm 25. And growing up, I have been told on a few occasions that I should have been a boy. And I think that's partly why me and my dad, we clash so much. Obviously, dementia is a big part of it at the moment, but growing up, you know, we haven't always seen eye to eye. We have very similar tempers. So, yeah. And I've just kind of had it where I've just had my feelings just swept under the carpet. I don't matter right now. Everything else matters except you. But that isn't true. I know that's not true, but if I'm, say, going through one of my episodes, I'm not going to necessarily think that's not true. And thankfully, I had taken my medication after he did that, because I think if that had happened before I took it, I would have probably completely just flown off the handle. And I personally don't think I would have liked what would have happened. You know, I love my dad, but there is just so much that over my life I haven't mattered, so I think in a way that's also why I'm more attached to my mum than my dad. This is why it was so nice when he was in respite, because I didn't have this issue where it's like, you don't matter. Because I know I matter, and also, if you're listening to this, never let anyone say that your feelings don't matter, because they do. Everyone's feelings matter. And you know, I did counselling for many, many years. I started counselling just before my 19th birthday, I want to say, and I did that for like 3-4 years, I want to say. And that really helped me kind of go through it. I had to stop my counselling because my counsellors, someone in his family got very ill and he had to start caring for them. And so, yeah, it was kind of stopping the counselling and going just back to not having that. It was a bit of a shock, but it was a bit of a culture shock, I can't lie, but you know, I got there. I got that far. I've got this far. And I just understand everything now. I'm starting to identify why I feel the way that I feel. You know, if you had met me when I was a lot younger, you would have seen that I didn't know why I was feeling the way I was feeling, but now I've just got older and got that experience. I know why I feel the way I do sometimes, whether it's linked to past memories or something else. It's just, you know, I always think, right, why do I feel angry right now? Why do I feel really sad right now? And yeah, you know, I just hope he's doing really well with whatever he's doing right now. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, I'm really sorry that this this WIP and Chat is quite heavy, but sometimes it just needs to happen. This is partly why I started horse riding, to help with my emotions, to help with my anxiety, because, you know, I've always loved animals. I always kind of, I feel more sort of comfortable and relaxed around animals than I do a lot of people. So yeah, like I say, and I feel that because sometimes I just feel the animals understand me more. I mean, I know my cat Midnight does, and my lizard does. I mean, he can recognize bad egg from anywhere. I mean, my ex saw him a few times. Well, one of my exes saw him a few times, the one that hurt me really badly. And Erwin did not like him. And I know exactly why I didn't like him now, but at the time I was so blinded with that yeah, I just thought Erwin was just showing dominant protective behavior. That's honestly what I thought he was doing, but yeah, he was doing that, definitely. he was definitely protecting me, well, trying to protect me in his own cute little Irwin way. But he was also, you know, I think he could definitely tell that this person was not a good person. And my ex-boyfriend is, who I'm still friends with, you know, Erwin liked him at first, but then he did this really stupid thing with him, and I would always just ask him not to do it and to stop, because my last ex did get very boisterous. It kind of, as my mum got, it kind of got to the early stages of domestic violence. Because he would think that what he was doing was fun, and it wasn't. It was hurting me. But he used to get Erwin, and he used to kind of hold him like that, and then he would open his mouth and pop his head in his mouth. He wouldn't close his mouth, but he would keep popping him in and out. The first couple of times I thought it was funny when he did it, but then it was like I could see that Erwin wasn't comfortable, and I would just ask him to stop, but he just thought it was really funny, and he thought Erwin was enjoying it. But it was, I had in the back of my mind, you know, what if you sneeze one day and you close your mouth and, you know, you take his head off, or you injure him. But yeah, he's just my sweet little lizard. And you know, the last year and a half where I've been home, it's just been nice just having the animals, really. So yeah, I think that's really all I've got to say. I'll go into driving. I won't go to horse riding this week because it was just jumping and stuff. It wasn't, well, to me it was exciting, but you know, I kind of think that maybe you don't want to hear all of the horse shenanigans. So driving, I went out yesterday, which was Wednesday, with my driving instructor, and you remember that I mentioned that that incident at the large roundabout where when I came off, there was the security dog unit. Yeah, I managed to negotiate that roundabout fine, like the slip road and everything. So that was good. I was like just singing a little song like the inside lane is lava, don't go into the inside lane. Stay away, keep on the outside. And other really funny things just to try and make the whole thing easier so that I didn't make a mistake. But yeah, there were a lot of roadworks yesterday, honestly. One of my favourite lines is from, I don't know if anyone's watched Primeval, not the one that was in the States called Primeval New Dawn. I think that was what that series was called. I watched a couple of episodes and I didn't enjoy it. The original UK one is so much better. But there's one with giant beetles in, and one of the characters says, "I've got an anomaly for you," just because he's on the phone to his like to the like secretary person. I guess that's what you'd call Jess. And he said, here, I've got an anomaly for you, Jess. Why do they call it roadworks? Sticks his head out the car when there's never any bloody work going on. That character, James Laster, he was played by Ben Miller. And yeah, it was just brilliant. I enjoyed it. I kind of really wanted them to carry the series on because they left series 5 on a really good cliffhanger. But yeah, I don't think they got the funding for it, or yeah. So that was a shame, but yeah. So we had to kind of go around just a little bit. That's the city where I live. Not the city where I live, the city near where I live. So I had to drive around there, and then I was going to turn up a little side road, and a little old lady decided she wanted to cross the road and not look. So I thankfully had the sense to drop gears and everything, so I was prepared in case she didn't look, and then she stopped when she realised I was there. So yeah, I sold the car. Brilliant. Thank God it wasn't my test. And then yeah, thankfully I didn't hit her, and I think I took her by surprise though, but same time, it's a road, you know, it's not safe. You shouldn't just be walking with your head down and expect cars just to stop for you. I mean, I get kind of the elderly are like slower and they can't hear or see as well. I really appreciate that, of course I do, but you know, it's still the same, just road sense people. And I think that is where I am gonna stop for the day. Well, I'm gonna stop for the moment. I might even do this side today, but I don't know. Excuse me, that's just going to depend of how we do this. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, please hit that like and subscribe button if you did enjoy this video. Also, please leave a comment. I always love to read them. And yeah, I will see you all next time. So I'll see you later. Bye!